What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Doug McCain here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. What will the Dodgers do with Trevor Bauer? Can they trade him? We're going to dive into that in just a second. But quick reminder for all latest Dodgers news and rumors all season long, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you really want to support the channel, smash that like button. And as always, I'm with your takes down below in the comment section. Today's Dodgers Nation question of the day: what do you want to see the Dodgers do with Trevor Bauer? Should they let him pitch? Should they reinstate him? Should they release him? I want all your takes down below in the comment section. Do you think there are teams out there that would be willing to trade for Bauer? Let me know down below. And for all latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. So by now, you've already heard the bombshell Bauer news. Trevor Bauer has been reinstated after an arbitrator reduced his suspension from 324 to 194 games. So Trevor Bauer is eligible to play on opening day. Now the big question now is, what do the Dodgers do? Because LA now has up until January 6th to decide whether to reinstate Bauer back to that 40-man roster or DFA him. So what would happen if the Dodgers just release Trevor Bauer? Well, if LA releases Bauer, he would go through waivers. And if a team claims him, that team would have to be willing to pay him the over $22 million that he's owed for the 2023 season. If he passes through waivers unclaimed, he would become a free agent and be eligible to sign with another team, with the Dodgers still on the hook for the over $22 million that he's owed. And he would most likely sign for the league minimum, which in Major League Baseball for the upcoming 2023 season is at $720,000. So the most likely scenario is that the Dodgers will be paying for Trevor Bauer to pitch for another team in 2023, unless they want to reinstate him onto their 40-man roster. And now it would come as a massive surprise. It would be a big shocker if they did this, but if the team did decide to activate Bauer, they would have to drop someone from their 40-man roster. The Dodgers 40-man roster is currently full, so if they wanted him, they would have to DFA someone, and there are some DFA candidates. I'm looking at you, Jake Reed, and if they did that, they could attempt to trade Bauer, a guy that hasn't pitched since June of 2021. He's essentially missed almost 2 seasons at this point, and a team that would trade for Bauer, they would have to endure the PR backlash, the nightmare that would come from signing Bauer, because I'm here to tell you that the Bauer baggage is real. There's a lot of teams that would just not consider bringing him into their franchise, but then there's also a lot of competitive teams out there that they want to win. There's teams that want to win now. The Mets, the Padres, the Phillies, the Astros, the Rangers are trying to change the culture down in Texas. Do they consider making a move for Trevor Bauer? Because let's be honest, he is still a big name. He is still a name that, even though he's very polarizing, a lot of people like to discuss, and people would tune in if Trevor Bauer was on the mound. And the other element, too, is what kind of pitcher is Trevor Bauer at this stage when you consider the fact that he's missed almost 2 years, and then also you've had the crackdown on foreign substances. And we know Bauer, he was a major voice when it came to Rob Manfred and the league and the crackdown on foreign substances and the sticky situation in Major League Baseball in 2021. And yes, you've seen the spin rate start to climb once again, and it's pretty clear at this point that you're seeing pitchers out there using pine tar, but the spider tag days are over. When Trevor Bauer won his Cy Young in 2020, you had ridiculous off-the-chart spin rates, and that's going to come down. And look, Bauer did pitch a few games after the crackdown, and those spin rate numbers dropped faster than FTX Bitcoin prices. So it remains to be seen what kind of pitcher he still is at this point. We know he's been putting in work, even though he has been pitching at his facility in Arizona. And I still think that Trevor Bauer can go out there and be an effective pitcher. And you also consider, hey, he doesn't have that mileage on his arm that he would have had over the past 2 years. And look, Bauer has already proven that he can be a really good pitcher even before his spin rate skyrocketed. Just look at the year he had in 2018 when his spin rate numbers were closer to normal, posted a 2.21 ERA, led the league with a 2.44 FIP, a .5 home runs per 9 in 175 and a thirds innings pitch. He's also been an innings eater throughout his career. He's been durable. So I think at the very least, Trevor Bauer is a very solid number 3 starter. On some teams, he's a 1 or 2 starter. So we'll see. Will teams consider trading for Bauer? I've seen some interesting packages out there. People saying maybe Josh Donaldson to the Dodgers and maybe you flip that. But I think at this point, teams realize that, hey, there's a good chance that they could get him on the league league minimum. But if you really wanted Trevor Bauer and you wanted to secure that, you would just try to trade for him. If you're the Dodgers, like I said, that would be the best case scenario. But at that point, you would have to reinstate him to that 40-man roster, cut someone, and then you would also have to answer some questions about him being back on that roster. So if the Dodgers aren't considering allowing Trevor Bauer pitch for them again, the dream scenario is that a team goes out there and trades for Bauer. It would feel like a get-out-of-jail-free card, but even then the Dodgers still would most likely be paying a majority of that over $22 million that he is owed, but you would get a little bit of financial relief. And if the Dodgers were really hell-bent on trading Bauer, they could attach some top prospects, but I don't think they'll even consider doing that. Just imagine how that would sit with the organization and Dodgers fans, where you're giving away top prospects just to save some money. I don't think they're even considering that. I think the decision has been made at this point. I think if the Dodgers aren't going to bring him back, they're just going to cut ties and just eat this money. Yes, right now the Dodgers CBT mark, that is at $232 million, and it does almost feel kind of funny when it is $1 million less than the current $233 million CBT threshold. But with the reality of that is that the Dodgers were most likely going to go over. The Dodgers were, one, probably going to sign some other guys, two, probably trade some guys during the season and have to absorb that salary. Most of the time, if you're making a trade, you're trading away prospects and you're getting salary in return. Also, there's 9 arbitration eligible players for the Dodgers this year. Those projections aren't always accurate. Sometimes they're over, sometimes they're under, and then you have incentives. And if you look at Shelby Miller, he has a $100,000 incentive. Noah Syndergaard has a $1.5 million incentive. He gets $500K for 130, 150, and 170 innings pitched in. I am very confident that Noah Syndergaard is going to meet some of those escalators. So, look, the reality is the Dodgers were almost always going to go over. They probably realized that this was going to be the outcome of the Trevor Bauer situation. And if you look at the Dodgers luxury tax number, like I said, it's at $232 million. And Bauer, he originally signed that 3-year, $102 million deal. So that AAV towards the CBT sits at $34 million. So, yeah, they were not going to get under. And really, that's the price of doing business at this point in Major League Baseball. The idea that the Dodgers could sign free agents and compete, and yes, their payroll is still one of the tops in the league, but now you have the New York Mets and Stephen Cohen, who just put together the richest team in the history of Major League Baseball when you consider it's at $384 million with a projected $111 million luxury tax bill. That would have them blow past almost $500 million. And then you have the Padres, who are very aggressive, the Phillies, who are very aggressive. The National League has changed dramatically in the last 2 seasons. So the Dodgers, if you want to compete with those teams financially, which they are, but if you really want to go over and make a run at some of these bigger names, you are going to have to get into that CBT and go past it and pay that luxury tax bill and that repeater tax. That is just the price of doing business. So the Dodgers, you're going to have to pay up. You make all this revenue. You can increase the price of Dodger dogs and michelada and parking. I'm sure Dodger fans will be fine with it, as long as it means bringing in big names and talent and having this team be World Series contenders. And look, if you're this Dodgers ownership group, you're one of the richest in the league. And if you look at the revenue and the attendance, the Dodgers, they print money. And look, it's not like the Dodgers or the Pittsburgh Pirates at this point. They're not spending money. They're still top 5 in payroll. You still have a $365 million man on your team, a $162 million man in Freddie Freeman, who they signed last season. I just think they weren't in love with any of these free agents enough to give them big money. And like the guys they did like, I don't think they were going to sign with LA. Guys like Aaron Judge and Carlos Correa, I don't think we're going to sign with the Dodgers. And I don't think LA wanted to get into a bidding war for any of these players. If Shohei Ohtani was a free agent this offseason, I believe full well that the Dodgers would have made him a very competitive offer. And I also think the Dodgers realized the benefits of developing your young talent and the fact that you can't build a sustainable winner unless you give those guys experience. It's either play them or trade them, and this year they're going to play them. So did the Trevor Bauer situation impact the Dodgers spending this offseason? I would say yes to a degree, but I don't think it's as big as some people are making it out to be. I think the Dodgers, for the right players, would be willing to spend, and I also think that when you look at the grand scheme of things, how much money this organization makes, $22 million, a little over that, that's not going to break the bank. And in this day and age of Major League Baseball, this ownership group, they realize that they're going to have to spend on certain players. It's not like there's some broke franchise. You're not going to see Mark Walter and Todd Boehly and Magic Johnson get side hustles and become Uber drivers and Postmates drivers to earn some extra cash. No, that's not going to happen. The Dodgers are still up there with the big spenders in the league. They're just trying to allocate those funds in the right way and bring in players that they think they can get value from. So look, we know that this Trevor Bauer situation was looming, and one thing I haven't heard anyone talk about is the fact that it was a 3-year, $102 million contract. So to an extent, they did mitigate their risk. It's not like they signed Trevor Bauer to a 5 or 6 or 7-year deal. We know Bauer was looking for a short-term, high AAV deal, but look, this could have been a lot worse for the Dodgers had they signed him to a bigger contract, a contract that a Cy Young Award winner in his prime, coming off his best season of his career, would have signed in most cases. So it hasn't worked out for the Dodgers. I'm telling you, he will not pitch another game for LA. And whether or not you think that's right or wrong, I'm just trying to give you the cold hard facts based on what I'm hearing and what the Dodgers options are. So look, most likely, will a team go out there and pick him up? I think they will. I think that, look, it is going to be a situation where you're going to have to sell that to your fan base. If you look at MLB's investigation, it was more than just the accuser that originally put the wheels in motion in all this drama. But I think that a team out there, they're probably going to give him another chance. Will he get Ray Rice? That remains to be seen, but I think you'll see Bauer pitch again. I really do. But let me know down below in the comment section, what are your thoughts? What are your takes? Do you think there is a team out there that would be willing to trade for Trevor Bauer? Do you want to see the Dodgers let him pitch again? Let me know down below. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. For all latest Dodgers news and rumors all season long, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. And as always, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.